Welcome into College Football Breakdown with Kelly in Vegas. Find her on Twitter at KellyInVegas. Let's welcome her in. Kelly, how's it going today?
Hi, Drew. It's really good here in Las Vegas. Beautiful weather. Probably not as beautiful as Costa Rica, but great, beautiful 75 degrees. So I am not complaining.
Yeah, Vegas this time of year is great. Costa Rica's just getting over the rainy season, so I don't know. It's hit or miss this time of year down here, but we got two Big 12 matchups here at the 12 noon Eastern kickoff, so early slate on Saturday that are pretty exciting. We got first up Oklahoma State versus Texas. Looks like Texas is a touchdown underdog here, commanding a +7 price tag. This one's on ABC, and totals-wise, Bet Online hanging a 65.5, Bet DSI 64.5 on the SBR odds screen right now. So it's some opinion on this total. How are you looking to bet this Big 12 matchup, Kelly?
Well, as you know, I always love to make a case for the dogs, and this is going to be probably the best game in the Big 12 this week. I'm taking Texas plus the touchdown here. This Horns team is just improving every single week. As you know, if you were paying attention, they got the cover for us last week versus Oklahoma, had a shot to win the game outright. Deep into the fourth quarter, did not happen, but hey, I will take the cover and be so happy. One of the reasons why I love this Texas team is actually Coach Tom Herman. He's now 7-0 as an underdog, has 5 outright wins. I really like Ellinger under center. And honestly, this defense is one of the better ones in the country at stopping teams on third down. I like Mike Gundy. I had the Oklahoma State Cowboys winning the Big 12 this year, but this is going to be a really close game.
Wait, you say you like Mike Gundy. Are you a mullet fan?
You know, I was going to make a mullet comment, but I wasn't sure if that was a little too much. But I do like him as a head coach. I think he does well. We did see them falter against TCU, but I still, after Oklahoma lost to Iowa State, still like their chances to win the Big 12.
All right, well, so we got Texas +7 starting us off. Also on the 12 o'clock slate in the Big 12 on FS1, we got Iowa State Cyclones versus the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Looks like Iowa State is +7 as well, so a touchdown underdog here, 67.5 the total. How are you looking to bet this one, Kelly?
You know, I typically don't bet Iowa State away from Ames. As everybody who follows me knows that I think Ames, Iowa, for whatever reason, is always a trap game. But I do like Matt Campbell, and many would have thought last week versus Kansas was going to be a big letdown spot as a 3-touchdown favorite. Absolute blowout. And then on the other hand, you have the Red Raiders, who had a nice lead going into Morgantown, only to give up 29 unanswered. This defense is just absolutely horrendous. They also have the Sooners on deck, so don't be surprised to see the Cyclones possibly get past this Red Raiders team in Lubbock.
And I know you went to college in the Big 12. Have you ever been to Ames, Iowa? I mean, why do they get all these wins at home?
You know, it is crazy. I have been to Ames, Iowa more times than I'd like to admit as a Kansas State fan growing up. And it is just, for whatever reason, a great home field advantage. No one would ever think, but November games especially, I don't know if it's the cold, if it's the crowd, it's a dreaded place to go when you're especially like the Wildcats team that I root for, you know, a nice favorite. For whatever reason, this Iowa State team loves to cover.
Yeah, so what size college town is it? Is it strictly a college town, like a small college town, or is it more of a city?
No, it's absolutely not. It is a college town. If the Iowa State wasn't there, it probably wouldn't exist.
All right, good stuff, Kelly. Moving on to the 3:30 slate on Saturday, we got Syracuse, Miami in the ACC. This one's on ESPN. Looks like Penny's laying -17 with the Canes, -16.5 pretty much everywhere else across the board on the SBR odds screen right now. Totals-wise, we got about 58.5. How are you looking to bet this ACC matchup, Kelly?
You know, I was on Syracuse last week. I did not give it out on your show, but I was really impressed. Obviously, we know Kelly Bryant went out for a Clemson, but this Syracuse team still would have covered that game easily. They've now covered 5 straight. And frankly, this is kind of more of a play against a very hyped Miami Hurricane squad. I wasn't that high on them to start the season, so maybe my power ratings are a little bit off, but they're off 2 hard-fought games, one versus Florida State and then last week versus Georgia Tech. I am an Eric Dungy believer. I think this line is just too high.
All right, so +17 we can give you on Syracuse there. That's at Pinnacle. Also got Texas +7 and Iowa State +7 so far. Moving on to the late night slate here. We got Colorado versus Washington State. Looks like Washington State's commanding a -10 price tag. This one's on ESPN. The total opened 56, bet down to 53 as of right now. Are you going with another underdog in this one, Kelly, or going to lay it with Wazoo?
You know what? I have to lay the points here with Wazoo. We kind of joked before we started the show, is Colorado going to backdoor us here? And I feel like they are the team to try to do that, but I don't know if Washington State is going to allow that to happen. As you guys know, they lost as over 2 touchdown favorites at Cal last Friday night. And I think we're going to see a different, more down-to-earth Wazoo team. I really like what Coach Leach has done with this team, and I think we see a bounce-back game over a really crappy Colorado team.
All right, so the back door is not going to be open in Pullman, Washington, huh?
God, I hope not.
All right, so Wazoo -10 along with 3 pretty sizable underdogs. That's what we're going with this week. And Kelly, so being there in Las Vegas, are you hearing anything around town in the sports books?
So, you know, I just actually was shooting over at Cromwell just a little bit earlier with the newspaper, and they have a brand new, beautiful book. If you guys are in town, you should definitely go check it out. Other than that, Vegas is pretty quiet right now. It's week 8. I cannot believe that we're 2/3 of the way through college football, almost half the way through the NFL season. So, you know, it's just one of those interesting times here in town. Lots of action going on, and it's a great time to come visit.
Yeah, absolutely. Good weather too. And this weekend you're gonna catch your Broncos not too far away in LA, right? Anything I guess the watchers should know about that as far as maybe that stadium in LA. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, you know, it's gonna be interesting to watch a professional football game in such a small stadium. It'll be the first time I've ever got to do it. I've been to quite a few stadiums, and I'm going to say it's going to be an upgrade from Qualcomm, because the last time I was there, I can understand why the team wanted to move. The line, though, is rather interesting. We saw the Broncos open as a 1-point favorite quickly. Somebody bet the Chargers moved to 1, now 1.5. I don't know what to make of this Broncos team. I think last week everybody knew the sharp play was the Giants. I did not have the guts to bet them. I definitely did not bet the Broncos. And then they get the outright loss as double-digit home favorites. This is a Chargers team, though, that they've absolutely owned over the course of basically my adult life. And anytime that we, as Broncos fans, you know, played the Chargers or the Raiders for that matter, it always kind of was circled early on as a W. I do like what the Broncos have done with their running game, but for whatever reason, this Chargers team is kind of scrappy. We saw last week where they upset the Raiders as 3-point dogs going into Oakland. The Black Hole is a really tough place to play. So I'm excited for this game. I just don't know how much of a home field advantage the Chargers are really going to have. So it kind of makes it difficult to cap. I'm excited to go check out the stadium myself and see if it really is half Broncos fans, half Chargers fans.
Yeah, no, that will be a fun one. And Kelly, one last question here. I'm asking a couple people doing videos this week because it was kind of a topic on hand on the round table. If UCF beats Navy, runs the table, talking about the Central Florida Knights here, and then beats USF November 24th and goes on to be undefeated, do you think they deserve to be in the playoff conversation?
So this is where it gets tricky, and everybody wants to talk about these Power 5 schools and whether they deserve to be in or not. And I absolutely, as an underdog better, believe that UCF should be allowed to be in the college football playoff. But then we have to go into should we expand the playoff? Should we do this? Should we do that? And that's where it gets tricky, because someone like a 1-loss Oklahoma team, should they be out versus, you know, an undefeated UCF team? And I absolutely agree. I think if you run the table and prove that you can compete with the big boys, that you should get an opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I mean, a team that's, 100 points off by the odds makers so far this season. I think that they have definitely shown that. I mean, they beat Maryland, and they'll have a couple tough opponents there. So I don't disagree with you. I think they at least deserve to be in the conversation. But Kelly, hey, great show. We got Texas +7, Iowa State +7, Syracuse +17, and Wazoo -10 on the night slate. So yeah, anything else before we close it out?
No, Drew, thanks for always having me on.
All right, best of luck this weekend, Kelly.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.